So right from the top, I want to remind people that I am not a tax professional, but I am going to talk a little bit about taxes in this video. Why? Because I actually have some good news for collectors out there that may be buying and selling on platforms like eBay or using PayPal. Stay tuned. Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. As I mentioned, I am not a tax professional, but I do often talk about the hobby in the sense of making it work for you, where you are potentially buying and selling comics to reinvest those dollars into your comic book collection, right? I'm a huge fan of that. And because I talk about that and have for years, I oftentimes will talk about things like taxes because it's a part of that. But I have some news that I wanted to share with you guys. And technically, this is not necessarily new news. I think this law was actually passed back in July 4th of this year. So it's not exactly a recent thing, but I haven't seen anybody talk about it. So I wanted to make sure that I shared this with you all. The good news is that the reporting requirements for income that were put in place back in 2021 have been reversed. What do I mean by this? There was a law that was signed into effect back in 2021. It was the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. This law made it so that platforms like eBay and PayPal had to issue people and businesses 1099-K forms if that individual or business did $600 or more of transactions, right? Value of $600 or more. They had to issue this 1099. Because comic book collectors use eBay and PayPal because we probably exceed $600, a lot of people paid attention to this back when that law went into place. The good news here is that on July 4th of 2025, the One Big Beautiful Bill actually reversed that previous law that was put in place in 2021. It was reversed and it put the thresholds back to where they were previously. These previous thresholds were a combination of things. It was a combination of 200 transactions and $20,000. 200 transactions and $20,000 in 2021 was reduced to just $600, regardless of the number of transactions. But with the One Big Beautiful Bill, we are now back to those higher thresholds. And this is a really good thing for a lot of comic book collectors who use these platforms. Now, immediately, when that law went into place in 2021, there was a lot of uproar, and the IRS looked to actually phase it in over a period of time. But that phasing and all of that stuff is now pushed to the wayside because of the One Big Beautiful Bill. And the other good thing about this is not only do we have the higher thresholds, but it's actually I guess it's like retroactive back to 2022, which means that you don't have this reporting requirement when you go to file your taxes in next year, right? Next year in 2026, you don't have this requirement. And so this, again, is a very good thing. Now, what I will say here, again, I am not a tax professional. I personally will disclose all of the income that I've brought in. And I do this because I offset that with all of the deductions that I could possibly take. Because I look at the hobby as a business, all of the costs that go into the channel, go into bags and boards and grading fees and cleaning fees and all that kind of stuff, I deduct all of that from the income, and that's how I try to balance things out. And it actually works out quite nicely for me. But that's because I take the time to look at it like a business. How you choose to do it is a whole nother thing, but I wanted to offer a little bit of context as to how I'm handling this. It doesn't really change anything for me because I do things a slightly different way. But again, this was something that a lot of folks were very upset about in years past. So I wanted to make sure that I brought this information to you all. So with that said, hopefully you found this helpful. maybe entertaining, I don't know. But if you did find it helpful, I definitely want to encourage you to give the video a thumbs up. If you want to reach out to me, you can do it in the comment section or on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care. I want to append this video with an appeal to all of my folks out there that might be into crypto. For a while, I have been trying to do a deal to sell comics using crypto. If you are a crypto person, let me know if you're interested in doing a deal. I have a ton of graded and raw comics on hand, so if you have XRP or Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever it happens to be, send me a message on Instagram. Let's have a conversation and see if we can work out a deal.
Turn me up in my headphones a little bit, like I want to feel it, I want to hear it. All right, that's it right there. I spoke. When the sun rise, till it's burned out. No place to recharge, so we gotta learn how. Conversations with OGs that got dreams that never worked out. So they become masters of dream analysis. They come in the form of barbers and schizos. Warhead with a big nose with his lip.